It's so hard talking about what I want for the future because I do not really aspire towards permanence. No, so it's not necessarily hard talking about what I want for the future. It's hard talking about it with other people. And whenever I have my words received, that's the tricky thing. Because I love having my words received, but it is really tricky to have people just immediately claim the unfeasibility of something because it's so far out of convention. Like, I do not see myself having kids. I don't know that I see myself getting married either. I do not see myself living in the same area for an extended period of time unless that's what the moment provides for. So it's not that I don't aspire towards permanence. I actually do aspire toward permanence, but I don't prioritize permanence in my life decisions because I know that my body will give me a tangible understanding of if something is right for me or not. Like, I will feel it in my nervous system before my mind will have the words to explain why it is right or wrong for me to do. What I aspire towards is bodily peace because, especially in the years that have characterized my adulthood, my body has been so adamant on telling me every single thing that it needs out of me. And there have been moments that I've been very mentally scared about certain things, but the moments in which I am physically scared and at physical unrest are always so much more jarring, and they're usually coupled with those events. So it's more in the sense that I know what I need has to be satiated for me to not go crazy or do something that I would seriously regret in the name of bodily peace. I think that that's always been one of the very weird irrational fears that I have. There is oversharing moment, but not emotionally heavy sharing moment. Prefacing that right now. But there are certain genes in my family that would make me predisposed to addiction. So one of the very weird like mental fears that I have is like developing some sort of serious addiction, which is why I'm very, very adamant, more adamant than the usual person on figuring out what my moderation looks like with weed, because I'm like, yes, it is quote end quote harmless, but that could really snowball faster than I would like to admit. So I'm trying to think preemptively about a lot of these things because I love living. I think that there is no better, literally no better physical feeling or mental feeling than doing things that make you happy. That's why I'm like, I have learned over time that disingenuity brings me nothing but it makes my stomach hurt. It makes my head feel like it's gonna explode if I'm lying. So that's why I'm like, I make it a very, very, very important tenet in my life that I have to be content with the people that I am choosing to interact with, content with my job. Oh my gosh, I took so long to find a job because I knew that I wouldn't be doing, I was just doing gig work on gig work on gig work. It was so hard to make ends meet for such a long time. But because I didn't sit in a job that I absolutely hated, that took the capacity out of me to think further than that moment, because I know how my body because my thing is, I would like to be able to work a job, to be able to meet all of my needs and just in one fell swoop be able to boom. That's why another thing that I've realized is I have to be mentally comfortable with having my mind and my body work different than other people's, because there are some people that are capable of that, and for that I admire you if that is what you need out of your life, that you are able to meet that need. But what I need out of my life, it takes, well, my thing is, I see this manifesting the same in other people, and I'm just like, baby, I think we're all, well, I don't want to say something for everyone that may just be true for the individual. But I'm like, I think it is only because there have been so many unpredictable, well, I actually don't know how I adapted this form of thinking. I don't. I don't, because I didn't grow up this way. And there has been so many tumultuous things in my life that for a long time I craved consistency. I think it's just, that's why I'm like, am I special? Well, not special in the sense of like better than anyone by any that's not, but I mean like special and like particular would be a better word. Am I particular? Or like peculiar? Yeah, but I don't know if that's even what I'm thinking about right now. But I don't even know how to describe it. But I'm just like, I found a beautiful job with all of the opportunity, all of my creative interests play into it. It meets my needs. It is challenging me professionally. It's the work environment that I would want. It leaves me so creatively inclined that I'm able to. And the reason that I'm like, this is right for me is that the job that I have right now, I love it. I love it. I love it so much. And it provides for my immediate needs, but I am not making enough money. But it's having me so creatively disposed to actually being able to develop, like, yeah, just so many great new habits. I've been able to do so many just good new things for my life because I've been mentally nourished. And that's why I'm like, I'm the type of person, if I don't care about something, no matter the doors it may open, the life it may give me, if that life is in convention and checks all the boxes of convention and is by the book perfect, but I don't love it, I'm not doing it. Not for the sake that I don't want to, because I would love to, but for the sake that if I want there to be integrity or quality, period, in my work, I have to do something that I can stand by. And considering that that's such a big pivot for me, and I'm so adamant on doing things that are in line with my moral culture and just in line with, yeah, how I feel about myself and how I feel about my creative pursuits, because my creative pursuits humanize me. For the longest time, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to lay low, ball out, buckle down, do the damn thing, make my money so that I can have eventual creative freedom and I can eventually, there will be a day that there is nothing on my plate. And I'm just like, I don't care for that anymore. It would make things so much simpler. So many things would be so much simpler. But with everything in me, the times that that has been the case, I've been so miserable to the point that I am not autonomous in even in that work. Like if I could still even get that, there have been so many times where I'm like, I will be a martyr to my own cause if it will get me out to see the other side. But it literally has only been through allowing myself my humanity and giving myself a chance to experience that variability that comes with finding something that I actually can do. I'm like, yeah. So on one end, yeah, I don't know. But I'm very grateful for my self understanding now. And it also makes me so much more inclined that if there is something that I want to do that I within me and like, no! But I know that it's necessary, I have to make an organic connection to that thing so that I can actually do it in genuine effort. Because for so long in my life, like it's the tail ends of high school, especially, I was like, I really am just not smart. I am not smart. I am not XYZ. I'm not like a driven person. I felt so burnt out because backstory, my whole education. So I'm 20 as of current. And the entirety of my education, I've always and forever been just so pressured by every adult in my life to, I don't know, I was big academic for like forever. And I still am. But it took me actually allowing myself a break after high school. Well, after actually just recently, the leave of absence that I took for so long, to be able to actually realize I am incredibly smart. And like I had resonated with that for a long time, but that had just been part of my identity that I was shaping around the perceptions that I was receiving rather than my self understanding. So, whenever I was going through something really hard at the tail end of high school and I couldn't find an organic inclination to do anything because everything just felt very hopeless, I was like, I'm stupid. And there is nothing harder than losing your sense of identity, losing who you are to yourself or who you think you are to yourself is one of the most, or who you think you are to society. That's what it was. Because my sense of self was being shaped by who I was to the people outside of me. And knowing who you are and like to the rest of the world and being able to be received, I've realized is the source of just so much humanity and your ability to just have compassion for yourself and to be able to self validate and remind yourself, I am okay, I am good, I am, yeah, is tied to your understanding that you have worth in a society. Side note, that's why I find it so necessary in every single thing that I do. Ever since I made that realization, it changed everything for me. Everyone wants to feel valued and everyone wants to feel received. And whenever I realized that, oh, that's not just some hell yes, my biscuit pockets. Okay, what was I talking about? But I'm like, that's why I think that that's the really hard thing about being tokenized. I really had a hard time figuring out why it always felt so weird to be tokenized because I was like, well, if all these people think that I'm really smart, that's awesome. Well, no, I always knew that it was really weird for it to be like, oh, the exception type thing, especially considering that, yeah. But whenever I had been placed on this academic pedestal by every single authoritative figure in my life, and then eventually myself, it was so hard to step outside of that, that so many just bad habits and maladaptations of this being the case just catapulted and snowballed into just such larger issues that I'm just now starting to like be able to remind myself, oh my gosh, I am smart. I have such an incredible mind. Not even just smart in a by the book sense, but like I am so just thoroughly, I think so thoroughly about things. And I think that being able to find an organic sense of who I am, wait, through the things that I have determined to be important to me, rather than through, wait, rather than through the ways that, yeah, the other things that people had wanted me to prioritize and the other ways that people had shaped this understanding of what this thing means to me. It has just been so liberating and understanding that the way that someone's mind works can never be quantified is just such an exciting thing for me because I've always just having this leave made me so happy because I've always found a lot of just a lot of identity in like not even academics, but just like, yeah, just communication and understanding and all of these different things. And being able to validate that because there's nothing that I can tack a grade onto that and attach my understanding of how I perceive this thing and how I exercise this thing in my life has just been so exciting. I've been able to form an organic understanding of how I love the way my mind works. The way that my mind works has helped myself in so many ways and helped so many other people in so many ways. And it's like I have just formed so much compassion for myself that I'm like, I'm not the type, oh my gosh. I'm just like, I, this is funny. Oh, I'm not going to say this. It's cute, but I'm not going to say this. I want to keep that for me. But I'm like, I really enjoy my life. And I'll miss the time that I was able to spend in my own company, but it's reminded me that this is not something I'm willing to abandon. And it's something that I need. And it's something that just over the past couple months, there was a night last year, well, last school year, that I genuinely thought I was going to have a heart attack because I was pumping myself full of my ADHD meds because there was no other way that I could concert all of my energy into certain assignments just to meet deadlines. And my heart was always beating so fast, and I just broke down in my advisor's office one day. And this wasn't my academic advisor. This was, oh, it was a, baby, I outsourced. I was so nervous. And it was so hard. It was so hard. And it felt so all consuming. And I was so scared every single day I woke up in fear that something that I hadn't gotten to was just going to come crashing down. It's so hard to move through the world like that. It is so hard that I was like, there is nothing human about this. This might be other people's version of success. Getting to the other side of this might be how other people see school to be character forming. But if it is doing nothing but break me physically, mentally, and even just mental processes wise, if I am maladapting through the entirety of college, and I already struggle with transitions as is, how am I going to flip this switch to maladapt in different ways into a work thing? Because it is so much harder to maladapt into every single horrible circumstance that you find yourself in rather than putting yourself in better circumstances. So I was like, it's going to be rough for a while. And it was rough for a while. The leave killed me at first. And everyone was like, how's your leave? I was like, great. It killed me at first. It killed me. But coming out of it, knowing all of the things that I do about myself, having this self-assurance that I've never had before, feeling so steadfast in the understanding of the importance of my creative passions and how they literally have helped and will help so many different people to be, there is nothing better than self-assurance, and being able to have stocked myself with so much of that emergency supply, stuff in the bunker. Like, it is always just learning the things that I did about myself and building this level of self-compassion will be something that I will remember and carry with me throughout the rest of my life. I am so happy that I made this decision. And I'm so grateful for all the different ways that I've grown. I'm like, that is so exciting. I was not this person whenever I left school. Oh, hats off. Yes. 2024 was a shit show. But I learned so much about myself. And it was a great time. But yeah. Okay, I'm going to go finish off the rest of this Misfit Market and watch my movie.